You know, I was gonna make this one of my, stories with Rock and his blue plastic retractable stool. But instead, I'm just gonna stand here and talk to the camera because I did something that I'm not happy about and I wanna straighten it out now and see what you think. So I guess about a week ago now, I can't even remember what day it was, but something happened and I posted a video about it because I was really upset about it and I couldn't imagine posting a video about anything else because I really only post videos about things that I care about, And I think it's pretty clear to people that I'm kind of a very socially and politically conscious person. And I definitely like to think of myself as fair towards everybody, and I love everybody, like everybody starts in a good place for me. I don't ever start in a bad place. I don't try to judge anybody or anything like that before I know them. And even when I know somebody, who am I to judge anybody? But I shot this video and then I didn't post it because at the time I was having this huge growth on my channel, like I was getting tons of subscribers all of a sudden out of the blue, lots of watch hours, like things were rolling finally after doing this for 4 years. And so I said, you know what, with regards to my work, like when it comes to my plays or my movies, I'm never going to compromise. Like if I have something to say, I say it, And trust me when I tell you, I've walked away from some major opportunities in my career because I refuse to change certain things or take certain things out of a play like racism or white privilege or whatever. And, certain places don't want to deal with that, which is fine. That's good for them. And a lot of even close friends of mine have thought I've been crazy at times to do stuff like that. But anyway, this is YouTube. And I thought, you know what, I'm here because I want to get monetized, you know what I mean? I want to be successful at YouTube. I want to have another source of income while I do the rest of my work. The pandemic changed everything for me. It's been harder for me to make the amount of money that I was making before. I've been struggling, but not struggling enough to not be able to do what I do, to continue to make movies and write plays and perform and all the things that I do. And I enjoy doing YouTube. But anyway, to cut to the chase, something happened and I didn't post it, and I feel kind of embarrassed about that, to be honest with you, and a little ashamed because it's just not who I am. It's not the way I do things. And so I'm going to post the video now. Honestly, I thought if I post this video, I'm probably going to lose half of my subscribers. That's how I felt about it because I could just tell that, there are people from all over the country. Wow, somebody's calling me right now. There are people from all over the country who are part of my channel. And, not everybody feels the way somebody from New York City feels. You know what I mean? Like we're a very diverse country. We have different social and political views, and it doesn't make anybody a good person or a bad person or whatever. But I just thought, in this world where people are kind of heated about everything, and especially with an election coming up in November, no matter what you say about anything, everybody always relates it to something political or whatever. You know what I mean? So, you know what? I'm going to post this because I'm not a gear channel. I'm not getting a new camera. I'm not getting new equipment. I'm not going to review stuff like that. I'm not going to talk about things that I don't really care about. I'm not going to make shit up. I'm not going to betray you and lie to you. Like, I love my camera. I'm not getting a new camera. If I talk about upgrading to something, it's because it kind of crossed my mind, but it's not going to happen. I got the Panasonic S5. It's a dinosaur to most people, I use vintage lenses. I use anamorphic lenses. I don't really care about the new cutting edge, AI autofocus and stuff like that. Like, good for you if you like that. For me, I shouldn't even be talking about it because I don't care. I'm a storyteller. I could tell you how I shoot my stuff. I could tell you technically how I do things all by myself, but I'm a storyteller, you know, I'm not going to make shit up. So anyway, the other thing that comes along with me, if you're my friend or if you're a follower, if you like my work, is that I'm the kind of guy who is not afraid to put himself out there when I think something is unjust, you know, when I think something is just plain wrong, when I think something is like, something has just happened, like, yo, what the fuck? Like, how can we possibly be talking about anything else but what just happened? That's the kind of artist that I am, and that's the kind of artist that I've always been. You know, like, stop everything that you're doing because this just happened. You know, that's what I am. In 2006, when Sean Bell was shot 50 times by New York City police officers, and he was unarmed, and he was killed, coming home from his bachelor party, I stopped everything in my life, and I wrote about it, and then I performed about it. And, you know, that's the way I've always been, you know, in every case. And without any kind of, you know, taking one side or taking another side, I don't give a fuck about any of that. I care about what's right. It's funny how the sun just went in, so I don't know if I'm too dark right now. But anyway, I'm going to play this video for you right now, and I'm just going to let it run. I apologize for not posting it when I made it, and I'm never going to do that again. I'm going to post what I care about. That's what this channel is about. It's not always going to be political and social and all that kind of shit. But, you know, it's going to be fun. And so I started to shoot a video this morning about one thing, and so I'm going to play the beginning of that intro, and then I'm going to go right into the video that I didn't post the other day, and let's see what happens. So this is one of those videos where I'm probably going to lose a bunch of subscribers, perhaps. I hope not. I felt like I couldn't make another video. I couldn't really do anything else in my life without stopping for a moment and acknowledging these school shootings that have happened over the last couple of days. And then, you know, more threats for more shootings, and, you know, all the stuff that's going on around this country with regards to gun violence. And I really do hope that the people who don't agree with me don't leave the channel, because I am not one of these people who's so extreme that I think, you know, everybody's guns should be taken away and there should be no guns. And, you know, I feel how I feel, and I'm not out here, you know, proselytizing my beliefs with regards to how we should deal with guns. But, and by the way, you know, the Democrats or the libs or whatever you want to call them, they're not trying to take your guns away. They're just trying to get better gun safety laws, you know. They're just trying to make it harder to get guns, and they're trying to take assault weapons like AK guns off the street, because why does anybody need that kind of gun? those guns were made for the Vietnam War. Like, we don't need those kind of guns on the street. But that's like a whole nother issue too. But really all I wanted to do was to acknowledge that the other day, families woke up, sent their kids to school, and the kids themselves expected to just go to school and, you know, do the things that you do in school and hopefully learn something in class and, you know, go eat lunch and have recess and then go back to class and, you know, play around with their friends and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, the parents expected to send their kids to school and, you know, hopefully see them later in the day when they came home. And, you know, friends expected to still have their friends, and, you know, uncles and aunts still expected to have their nieces and nephews. And, you know, like, people's lives got disrupted in the most tragic possible way, where, you know, young lives were lost and teachers were lost, you know? And I just feel like we just keep going, you know what I mean? And then immediately it becomes a political issue and a political discussion, and that's not what should happen, you know? We should just acknowledge that people were lost, you know? And, you know, I'm hearing people say, hey, it's just a way of life, we have to get used to it. You know that there were already armed police officers in that school. Like, that's part of the protocol for that school. And the reaction by the police department was within 2 minutes they were there. So it's not about, like, you know, you want to have like an entire army in every school. You want to have like armed people all over the school in every school in the country. That's not going to happen. But isn't it common sense that it's kind of stupid that a father would gift a 13-year-old kid an AK-47 or whatever the gun is, whatever it is, he gifted his child a rifle, a death machine. Like, does that make sense to anybody? The fact that they even have access to that kind of gun, I mean, it's just kind of crazy to me. So, you know, I don't want to get into the politics of it, and I really hope that, you know, people will look at me as somebody who, you know, perhaps they like his work, you know, they like what I do here on YouTube or on social media, they like the fact that I obviously care about other people. You know, you could say that about me, that I'm an empath, that I am an activist. You know, I have, like, the people who I have in my life who I love are everybody, you know. I have everybody in my life, people of every kind of belief, you know, people who love different types of people in different types of ways, people from different countries who speak different languages, you know, people who are trans, people who are gay, people who are black, white, Asian, you know, men, women, older, younger. I have everybody in my life, everybody. I believe everybody should have the same rights to insurance and, you know, making generational wealth, and the same opportunities and the same safety. And, you know, I believe that, you know, the people who immigrated to this country are the backbone of this country, because that's what this country was founded upon. You know, there's nobody here, unless you're Native American, there's nobody here who is from this country generationally. Nobody. None of you. So, you know, I'm also somebody who believes that the root of every issue that we have, and I'm just going to talk about in the United States for now, is based in racism. That's what it is. It's based in racism. And I don't know. You know, like, I know that I'm considered a lot to a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like, some people, when they hear me speak or they watch my work, whatever, they roll their eyes and they want to just go away, like, oh, geez, I don't want to hear from Rock, you know? All he talks about is racism and, you know, white privilege and, you know, homophobia and xenophobia. And, like, why can't he just be, like, silly and funny? And, like, it's just not who I am, you know? And even when I was a little boy, my grandmother one day said to me, oh my God, you're a lot. You're a lot, you know. Nobody's going to be able to deal with you, you know? But as I got older, I realized it's not that I'm a lot. It's that most people are just not enough, you know? Because look at the world. Look at the world we live in, and look at what just happened. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what kind of grievance this 13-year-old kid had, but I have a feeling it came from the people around him, because he's 13. He's not forming these opinions on his own based on nothing. It's his environment, it's his family, it's his friends, it's whatever his grievances are coming from his community. And it's that we're so disconnected from one another. You know, like, you don't want to talk to me because I want to talk about equality, that I think everybody should have the right to be happy, should have the right to be safe, should have the right to, you know, be warm when it's cold outside and cool when it's too hot outside, the right to be fed. Like, you want to hate me because I want to talk about that, because that doesn't exist in our society? Well, I don't understand that. Like, what's the problem with me if you don't want to talk about that? Because, you know what? It's like these school shootings are not even a big deal anymore, you know? Like, and they become political immediately. People lost their children. They lost their best friend. They lost their niece, their nephew. People lost their future, their life. And by the way, the people in that school, the young people in that school, traumatized for life, you know? I heard somebody the other day say, oh, we need to just get over it. We need to get over it? Yo, how many of you watching this video at 13 years old had to deal with a school shooting? And if you did, how fast did you get over it? I mean, there are kids now who don't want to go back to school ever. I know parents who don't want to send their kids to school. I have a friend who is a New York City police officer, a woman, a friend of mine, who just recently moved out of Queens. She lives out in the country now, somewhere out in New Jersey. But she said, you know, if I was still in New York City, I would not allow my child to take the train to school every day. And she's not one of these like over the top, like, oh my God, I'm afraid of everything. She's like, she grew up in New York City. I mean, that's just crazy talk, that's the world we live in now. And so anyway, you know, I don't want to get too deeply into this today, but I just wanted to acknowledge the loss of young lives, the teachers and the students, and the 8 other people who are in the hospital. You know, I pray for them and I hope that they recover fully. And all of the people who had to endure this horrific tragedy the other day, and the trauma that's going to exist in their bodies forever. Now, are they going to get over it and get on with their lives? Hopefully. You know, we all have to deal with tragedy at some point in our lives. But this is some other level of shit that most of us have never had to deal with. And, you know, if you ever had to deal with, you know, seeing a murder, seeing a mass shooting, you know, being part of a genocide, seeing your entire country being destroyed, your entire neighborhood being destroyed, your entire classroom, whatever it is, your best friend, some stranger across the street, like if you've ever seen that kind of violence, and I have, you never get over it. You will never get over it. And so I just wanted to stop. And you know, I'm trying to post a video every day right now. I'm trying to get my watch hours so I can get monetized on YouTube. I'm so close. And so I'm trying to post a video every day, and I'm trying to make every video contributing in some kind of way. And I actually have a video coming out, I think it's tomorrow, about autofocus in cameras. How silly is that? That, you know, I was sitting there editing the video, and I'm thinking, yo, somebody died getting shot in a school by a 13-year-old kid today. I have to say something. And I wish that everybody would say something today. And I wish that everybody would talk about this with one another. And I wish that everybody would make an issue about this and not roll their eyes and step away from it. I wish that everybody would acknowledge what happened, not only to the victims, but to the people around them, because we're all victims. Everybody in society is a victim when somebody else dies of a tragedy like this, a senseless tragedy of a 13-year-old boy taking a rifle, an automatic weapon, and shooting up a bunch of people in a school. And to those who deny that these things are happening, how dare you? How dare you? I'm going to finish the video with this. I happen to have the honor of being good friends with Sean Bell's family. Sean Bell was shot in 2006 by New York City police officers walking out of a club in Queens after his bachelor party. He and his friends were shot at 50 times by police officers, and they were unarmed. So that means that 50 bullets went in that direction and 0 bullets went in the other direction towards the cops. And he was killed. And Mr. and Mrs. Bell, who I'm friends with, I'm so honored by that. And it's because of my work, because of a play that I wrote that was based on that shooting. I think of them every time something like this happens because, you know, they've been so gracious to me, so generous, so loving. They've included me in things. They've invited me to their church, to events that they've done. They've come to see my play numerous times. Sitting there listening to me explain the death of their child over and over again, dramatically, screaming 50 shots, like screaming it. Imagine being the mother of that child. But she knows that what I'm talking about in that play is that what happened to her son could never possibly happen to me just because of the way I look. Like, the visceral response from police officers would never be that they have to shoot me 50 times if I'm unarmed. 50 times. It's just because Sean Bell was black. And Sean Bell is one of those names. And so anyway, I think about Mrs. Bell all the time and Mr. Bell and, you know, his fiance and his young child who, you know, was yet to be born at that time. And I just think, like, how could they possibly ever get over that? And I'm telling you, this family, they are the nicest human beings. And, you know, Mrs. Bell is like the den mother to all of these other mothers who lost their children to gun violence. You know, not just to police officers, just in general. You know, maybe in their own community. You know, at the you know, standing in front of their friends. I mean, I just think, wow, what must it be like to have lost a child? And so, how could I just make a YouTube video today? How could I just go about my business today? How could I think about lenses and autofocus? And how could I think about storytelling? And then that's where I stop. Because that, in my opinion, is what art is for. Art is for bringing these things up. To take this kind of stuff that makes you roll your eyes, that makes you hate me, that makes you think I'm too much, that makes you not want to be friends with me, that makes you not want to be around me, where I'm just it's just like too much, I can't, you know, like makes you think like I'm toxic or something like that. I'm trying to take these things and turn them into something beautiful, because that's what art is for. And so that's why I stopped today. This is not so beautiful. Although this is beautiful. This is my neighborhood. I live around here. And actually I'm standing in front of a church. And so yeah, that's what art is for. And how could I do anything but stop for a moment and use my storytelling and stick this camera in front of my face and talk into it and upload this to YouTube today and to all the other social media platforms that I can. So I'm going to end this now because it's going to get too long for me to upload this to like Instagram and stuff like that. So I'm going to stop. But yeah, I'm just trying to honor those people who died the other day in Georgia at a school at the hands of a 13-year-old boy who was gifted an assault rifle from his father. And this is what happened. He took that gun and he killed some people, some of his peers. I don't know that any of them deserve to die. That's all I got to say about that.